Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of City of Champions. First of all, I want to say thank you. I reached 500 subscribers yesterday, which in the world of YouTube is a big fat nothing burger, but to me it's pretty cool. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. And as long as people are watching, I'll continue to make the content. So that out of the way, let's get to it. So it was a successful season for us overall. We won 2 more titles, bringing our total to 12 in, this is what, our 14th season, I think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 14 seasons. So we have 4 more seasons to go with which to win 1 title. So we have tied the mark set by the 2001 to 2018 Boston sports scene. We have won 12 titles in 14 seasons as the Minnesota Timberwolves. And once again, the Minnesota Timberwolves have, I think I've broken the game. Minnesota 73-9 a year ago, 74-8 this season, back to back NBA championships. That's 3 straight titles for the Timberwolves and 6 overall, right? 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 straight titles for the Timberwolves. So we had 3 first-round draft picks this season. It was a pretty weak draft. So we ended up trading up in the draft, and we ended up with 2 picks, and they were both depth players, but it worked for us. So we picked up Damian Kosick as the number 8 overall pick. He's a 6'5 swingman, decent outside shot, pretty good defensively. And he was okay. 8 points, 3 rebounds, 2.5 assists per game from the 22-year-old. And then our other pick was another swingman, Alvin Jackson, a 19-year-old out of, I think he was just out of high school, actually. He didn't play in college. And he's a much better shooter. He's more offensively minded, but he is still above average defensively, averaged 5 points, 2.5 rebounds a game. So we picked up a couple of depth players, which meant we didn't have to spend a lot of money on our bench, which is fantastic. But what we did off our bench was we picked up a couple of big men. We picked up Jaren Jackson Jr., who was our backup center / power forward. And he had a pretty good season off the bench, 9 points, 3 rebounds a game. Signed him to the mid-level exception. It'll just be a 1-year thing. He was quite good. And then we also picked up Adam Holden, who we've had on our team before. Again, just a very good rebounder, very good defensively, good inside. 29 years old. We signed him to that 1-year, $6 million contract, 8 points, 4.5 rebounds a game. He was quite good. So those were our off-season acquisitions, Jackson, Holden, and then the 2 rookies, Alvin Jackson and Damian Kosick. If we look at the stats for the rest of the team, again, just very balanced scoring once again. 4 players averaging 17 or more a game, led by Xavier Brown, who just continues to get it done. He doesn't have a jump shot, still can't shoot free throws, but somehow is averaging 20 points a game on 47% shooting from the field, 7.5, almost 7.5 assists, over 6 rebounds a game to run the offense. Radko Lipichev was our first-round pick 2 years ago. He's another one who, 90, I think he's up to a 98 scoring now, 98, 99? 98 scoring. His shot isn't great, but again, 18.5 points, 7 rebounds a game. Dale Dyer, his contract is up this year. He's somebody we definitely want to bring back, averaged 18 and then almost 5 and 5. Our backcourt of Brown and Dyer is elite, and I want to keep that together. Jameel Ashburn, his contract is up after this season as well. That is something that we may consider moving on from someone like Ashburn, just because we have other options. I mean, he is still really, really good. 97 scoring, 86 inside shooting. I mean, he averaged 17 points, 8.5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks per game. I would love to bring him back, but he hates us. And I'm not sure why he hates us. I don't know how to affect that, but he hates us. So we may end up moving on from Jameel Ashburn. If we do, Alfred McCullough, who was our number 1 pick last season, will move into that starting center role. We started him at power forward this year, and that's not really his position given he doesn't have an outside shot. So next year, we'll make him our center. and kind of run with that if Ashburn doesn't want to come back. From a draft pick perspective this year, I think we have 2 picks this year. Yeah, we have ours and Toronto's. And where is Toronto in the NBA? They finished 51 and 31, so it's going to be a 20th-ish pick. So again, maybe in a position where maybe we can trade our 2 picks and move up into the, top 12 or something like that, top 12, top 15, rather than having the, 21st and 30th or whatever. We'll have to see how that goes. From a, let's see, does it show? Can I show the? That just shows the schedule. Yeah, I can't. Once you back out of the schedule page, you can't really show. At least I don't believe you can. At any rate, postseason. Again, it was a steamroll. We went through the Thunder in 5 games. We went through the Pelicans in 5 games. We went through the Grizzlies in 5 games. And we went through the Hawks in 5 games. So 16-4 in the postseason. 74-8 in the regular season. I mean, we are just a dominating team. So yeah, off season for the Minnesota Timberwolves. The big thing is going to be, what do we do with Jameel Ashburn? Hopefully Dale Dyer wants to come back. He's somebody I absolutely want to re-sign. And then we figure out what to do with Ashburn. Maybe it's a sign-and trade. Because McCullough is more than ready to take over as the starting center. I don't know that I don't think I'm going to renounce Ashburn's rights, because I would like to keep his rights so that we can try to work a sign and trade, and maybe pick up some depth, or maybe pick up a backup player and a first round pick or something like that. I don't really know yet, but that's going to be the biggest thing. He is down to 4 stars, so the ratings are starting to drop. But we have 4.5 star players kind of leading our team, and then we fill it in with role players, and it seems to work. So back-to-back 70-win seasons for the Timberwolves, 3 straight NBA titles. That is 6 of the 12 titles go to the Timberwolves. So that is it for Minnesota, or that's it for the Timberwolves. Let's take a look at the other team that we won it all with, and that was the Minnesota Vikings. That's right. We won the title with the Minnesota Vikings. That is Super Bowl number 2 for the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think it shows here. I think we have to go into the team page. Yeah, so we finished 12-5. That was the second best record we've had in this stretch. And we won it all. It was a good season. A top 10 in points per game and points per game allowed. We had a pretty good offense. We had a pretty good defense. And we won it all. So if we come here and we look at the playoffs, we were a wild card team. We went in as the wild card, and we beat the Falcons in the first in the wild card round. We beat the Panthers in the division championship. In the conference championship, we defeated the Packers. We were trailing 24-3 at halftime, and outscored them 34-3 in the second half. And then in the in the Super Bowl, a 21-point first quarter spurred us onto a 27-10 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. We look at the box score. A kickoff return for a touchdown on the first play of the game. Ezekiel Gunn takes it 100 yards for the touchdown. Richard Newsom, a couple of touchdown catches in that first quarter to put us up 21-0, and we just held the fort at that point. So, way to go. World Series, or Super Bowl number 2 for the Vikings. If we take a look at, let's take a look at the roster first so we can look at the draft. So if I remember correctly, it was a pretty good draft. Yeah, we got some decent names in here. So our first pick was I don't remember. Let's find our first pick. It's right here, I think. Yep. Abdul Buckingham, a 20-year-old, 74 overall wide receiver out of Cincinnati. had 81 receptions for 857 yards and 6 touchdowns. Really good speed, very above average hands. He looks like he's going to be a stud. We needed to get another wide receiver with Justin Jefferson retiring a couple of years ago. We needed to do something about that, but I will take that as a rookie campaign. 81 for 857, absolutely. Our second round pick was it Arthur Jones? Yeah, it was Arthur Jones, a 24-year-old strong safety out of Clemson. Our current strong safety, Joseph Cochran, is really good, but he's starting to get up there in age a little bit, so we needed somebody to back him up, so we took Arthur Jones with the second pick. Our third pick, I think our third pick was, that's right, we took a fullback. We took Earl Wyant as our third pick. I love a good fullback, man, and he was, look at his ratings. I mean, as a fullback, 84 speed, 84 strength. It just, yeah, I mean, to me, you get a fullback like that who's strong and fast, and he had a good season, 191 rushing yards out of a fullback. And he only had 5 catches, but 52, had a 69-yard run, nice, and 2 touchdowns. So Earl Wyant was our third pick. Walter Turner was undrafted. Our fourth pick, I think our fourth and our fifth picks were meh. Or was it our fifth and our sixth that weren't very good? William Muller. Yeah, Muller was our fourth round pick. He's nothing to write home about. 58 overall, or no, 63 overall. Not great. I didn't get any playing time. Lawrence Hutchinson was our seventh round pick. Excuse me. He's no good either. And then Baker and Leary were our fifth and our sixth pick. Baker wasn't terrible for a fifth round pick, 67 overall. And then Leary is a developmental guy, 20 years old, 65 overall is fine. So, excuse me. So that was our draft. So Abdul Buckingham was a really good first round pick for us. Did a nice job. If we look at the team stats, Ronald Larson in his second full season at the helm for us. Another good year. Didn't throw as many touchdowns, but didn't make as many mistakes either. Threw for almost 4,500 yards this year, 30 touchdowns versus 39 a year ago, but only threw 9 picks this year. Actually had a higher rating. So he's been really good in the 2 years that we've had him as our starting quarterback. Our, I guess, 3-headed running back monster of Clifford, Lujan, and Wyant were fantastic. 20 rushing touchdowns on the year, but 2,200 rushing yards. And then David Tellez was actually a draft pick we had last year. I may end up trading him. He's got, his contract is, actually I think his contract is up at the end of this year. But Lujan and Clifford are both really, really good. So and we just recently signed Clifford to an extension. Or did we? Did he not take it? I thought he took it. I'll have to look. I thought we signed him. In fact, I'm almost 100% sure that we signed him. Okay, what is going on there? The game is freaking out on me. Let's go back here. He's not listed there, which means we re-signed him. Yeah, we signed him to a 2-year, $8.5 million extension. So we have Lujan signed for 4 years at $3 million. Clifford signed for the next 2 at 8.5. So I think we may end up trading Tellez at the draft and see if we can get another draft pick. 24 years old, 81 overall. He's not going to get any playing time for us, so there's no reason to keep him around. So running back situation is really good. Quarterback situation is good. Wide receiver situation right now is fine, but that's assuming Newsome doesn't retire. Oh, speaking of retirements, we had, why can't I think of his name? Let's see. Can we go here? Yeah, it's here. Denver Betts. Denver Betts has retired. He retired at the end of last season. He was just an absolute monster for us for 5 seasons. Retired at age 32, coming off of a 100 catch, 1,400 yard, 15 touchdown season. He retired, so we needed to replace him, and that's why we went after Buckingham. It wouldn't surprise me if Newsome retired after this season. If he does, then, that's going to be another issue. We're going to need another wide receiver. Greg Davis and David Hale, a couple of pretty good tight ends for us. But I think we're going to need another wide receiver if Newsome does retire. If not, we're fine with Newsome, Buckingham, Davis, and Hale. And then we have Adam Smith backing everybody up. So that's kind of how things went from a receiving perspective. Defensively, again, we were led by Omar Sumner. This could be it for Omar. He's now 33 years old, 97 overall, one of our very first draft picks. Has hit 200 sacks in his career, his illustrious career, just an unbelievable career. 11 years, 200 sacks, 22 forced fumbles, just unreal. He could be done after this season. We will see. Baron Browning led us in tackles with 111. He's getting up there in age, but still contributing. Lacey Bush and Omar Rodriguez were an elite cornerback tandem for us. Joseph Rodriguez, I talked about. He's now 30. He's a 90 overall. We'll see what happens when his contract expires if we choose to bring him back. Cedrio Fon we brought in on a one-year deal. He was pretty good. I like linebackers who have high tackling, even if everything else is low. If he has a high tackle rating, he'll be pretty good. He may be somebody we look to bring back in free agency. Cody Collins, I think he was hurt part of the year, right? Well, he only started 4 games. Okay. Need to get him out there some more because he's really good. He had 7 sacks, a forced fumble. And need to get Cody Collins out there some more. We talked about Sumner. Sean Davis is our starting free safety. He's getting up there in age as well, so free safety may be an option that we need to look at for the Vikings as well. The defense is starting to get up there in age. Bush, Rodriguez, Cochran, Browning, Collins, Sumner, they're all on the wrong side of 30. So we may need to spend this offseason really trying to shore up our defense. That may be where we go this upcoming offseason. Special teams, we had Lacey Bush had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Our kicking game is fine. Seth Bourne, even though neither of them are rated particularly high, Bourne is only rated a 60, but 22 punts inside the 20. That's fine. William Mott made 40 out of 49 field goals. So no issues there. And we finished 12-5. So we'll probably be looking to shore up the defense this offseason. Not through free agency, but through the draft. I think maybe we spend our free agent dollars offensively. If Newsome retires, we need a wide receiver. If he doesn't, and we get Newsome back next season, we could be going full defense, both free agency and in the draft. We'll have to sort of see what happens. So that is your review of the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we will get on to the other 2 teams. I will be right back. All right, we're back, and we are back with the Minnesota Wild, who I had my best regular season, I think, than I've ever had in Franchise Hockey Manager. We were 59-17-6, and once again, we did not win the Stanley Cup. We lost in the first round to the Vancouver Canucks. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong with the Wild. I feel like I've put together a team that is pretty dominant year over year over year. We just have not been able to get it done. If we go to our history, you can see we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 straight seasons of more than 100 points. 11 straight and 12 of 13. And then in 2021, 2022, we just missed by a point. So we finished in first place 8 times in the last 10 years. We just haven't been able to get over the hump. So it's a little frustrating, but I will keep plugging along, and we will hopefully get it done. Where is... I thought there was a way... Staff index, leaderboards, alumni, game records. That's going to take a while to load. No. Okay. Well, we'll look at it in a second. At any rate, we finished 59-17-6. We lost in the first round of the playoffs to Canucks. The Kraken ended up winning it all. I think that's their second championship in this playthrough. If you look at our roster, we're just stacked. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, literally, all of our forwards, except for one, are at least 3.5 stars. I mean, we are just absolutely loaded, and we can't get it done defensively. So, we made one big free agent signing this past season, and that was Clark Caswell. He is a former 50-goal scorer with the Rangers back in 31-32. We brought him in, and he scored 48 goals in his first season with us. So we now have Demidov, who scored 60 this past season. Ivan Demidov with a 60-goal season for us. 100 points. Kaapo Kakko with 96. Yefimовich with 92. Kakko's contract is up. He only wants 1 year. That was a 3-year contract before, so maybe for a year I can re-sign him. But we're just loaded. I mean, you sit here, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 players with at least 10 goals, one with 9, one with 8. I mean, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 30-goal scorers, 5, 6, 7, 8 20-goal scorers. I mean, our offense was just redonkulous. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. Our offense was just absolutely absurd this year. We had a 14-0 win at some point during the season. Defensively, we still have young studs. Kyle Locke, the former number 1 pick, is sort of reached his peak, and that peak is damn good. Vezina's 26 now. Nilsson's 28, but he's still a defensive specialist. Kiviharu is still pretty solid at 29. Sandberg we picked up off waivers and has a 17 defensive rating, which I love. So, we are a stacked roster from a goaltending perspective. Ivanov had another good year, 2.86 and a 909, and Clark Boswell, 31, 9-3 with a 2.65 and a 912. We may be looking to bring in a new backup goalie and maybe another defenseman. I don't know. I mean, we don't need to do anything offensively. So maybe another goalie to replace Ivanov, whose contract is up, and then maybe another stud defenseman. We've got enough forward depth that we can probably make something happen. Upcoming free agents, I mentioned, that's Montreal. That's not what I want. Kaapo Kakko is a free agent, and then we have a lot of defensemen that are up. Gaston we picked up as a waiver claim. I'd like to bring back Sandberg and Gaston if I could. Maybe Salavi too. We traded for him, but these guys are all 17 defense, Sandberg and Salavi. So maybe Sandberg, Kakko, Salavi in that order if we can do it, and kind of go from there. Or maybe we let Kaapo walk. And next year we run with a line of Caswell, Yefimовich, and Demidov. Maybe that's what we do on the top line. Free up some money to maybe sign that stud free agent. So that might be the plan there. There should be, and I don't know why it's not, but there should be a button here that allows me to look at the draft. This past draft wasn't particularly good. We didn't have a first round pick. So if we look at our depth charts. We signed him as a free agent this past season. Pekarainen, he wanted to go to college last season, so he didn't want to re-sign with us. Hopefully I can get him to sign with us now. Yeah, we do have a first-round pick this year, which is nice. We don't have a ton of depth. We got a couple of pretty good prospects, but not a ton of depth. Again, our forward lines are fine. And then if we bring in Pekarainen this year, we're going to be stacked. We can just sort of shift all the right wings up one. We don't really need any depth. We've got depth on our forward lines. We've got plenty of defensemen, but if we can get another 4.5-star or 5-star defenseman to go alongside Kyle Locke, why wouldn't we do that? We have enough depth to do it, so we'll have to see how it goes. So a goaltender, maybe a defenseman for the Minnesota Wild, and hopefully next year we can finally get over the hump, as we are now, 14 seasons in, and this is the one team we do not have a title with. And last but not least, the Minnesota Twins. We are coming off of back-to-back World Series championships. Didn't happen this year. We've started to... we came off three. We had last year. I guess we didn't win it last year either. But this was our 7th straight season of 100 wins or more. We have not won the World Series each of the last 2 seasons, and injuries and age have started to take their toll. Corbin Burns was hurt most of the year. Only managed to pitch in 14 games for us this year. Was pretty good in those 14 games. 4-1 with a 2.51. But his time with the Twins is up. He has a team option for next year, which we will decline. Ricky Munoz had a great second full season with us. He's been fantastic. Another season of 300 plus strikeouts. What moves? We traded for John D'Amato this past offseason. He was really good during the regular season, and then, of course, got hurt right before the playoffs. I would like to re-sign him, but he wants $20-ish million a year, so we'll see how that goes. But for D'Amato, we gave up Alex Moreno. I had talked about wanting to trade Moreno. Jesus, all he did was put up 6 WAR in Cincinnati this year. But with the defense, with the young outfield talent we had coming up, I felt that was a place we could sacrifice. Now, if we can't re-sign D'Amato, might not be as great a deal, but if we can re-sign him, he'll be a solid addition with just 6 really good pitches. He's a ground ball pitcher. He's been durable, so hopefully we can bring him back this year. What else did we do? I don't think we did. We signed Luis Campusano to a 3-year contract with 2 team options. I don't know that I don't think I'm going to accept that option. He's fragile. Excuse me, only hit 200, so we definitely need to do something with our catching situation. We signed Angelo Torrando to be our closer this year. Low loyalty, low leader, low work ethic. We signed him to a 3-year contract worth $36 million, and he was quite good as our closer. 32 saves and a 2.84 ERA. I think those were the only moves we made. Yeah, we didn't do much in free agency other than bring in Amato. Well, that was a trade, and then signed Torrando. We signed TJ Murphy here from Toronto. He only wanted $1 million, so we signed him, and he put up 4 wins. Very good defensively. The bat is good enough. He was a 2020 guy last year, 24 home runs, 27 steals, so that was a solid deal as well. So if we look at our stats, look at the batting stats for batters. Jordy Parks with another great season. His contract is up this year, and I think we may let him go as we have Tony Henriquez ready to come up next year to be our starting center fielder. I don't know that center field is his long-term position, though. He could end up a second baseman. His infield ratings are actually better than his outfield ratings, and that infield arm suggests that he could play second base. So we may start him in center. He may end up at second. But so Parks put up 5.9 WAR. We may let him go. He doesn't want an unreasonable contract, 4 years, $22 million. So maybe we keep Parks. The question is whether we want to keep Parks or D'Amato, or, if we keep them both, we're going to have to make a move elsewhere. Our infield is still in pretty good shape with Khalil Watson, Marcelo Meyer, Bobby Esquivel, who played second base this year and was quite bad at second base. So Esquivel might be a trade option this year. If we trade Esquivel, we can leave Parks in center, and we can call up Henriquez to play second. That might be the option. But Mitchell Dean had a really good year for us, walked 107 times, a .417 on base percentage, 5.5 WAR out of a DH out of a DH. He only played 3 games at first base this year, so 5.5 WAR out of a designated hitter. It's pretty damn good. Khalil Watson had another great season for us, another 300 year. His ratings are starting to dip a little bit. Excuse me. He's still got 4 years left on his contract, or I guess 3 after this one. So hopefully, I expect the last year or so of these deals to be anchors, but still sold 30 bases, was still good defensively. Christopher Diaz, 47 home runs, 123 knocked in. Bobby Morales, we moved him to first base to get his bat in the lineup, and he's not very good defensively, but that bat will play, man. That bat will play. His rookie season, 25 home runs, 89 RBIs, a 414 on-base percentage. Just an elite hitter at only 21 years of age. Marcelo Meyer continues to perform. He's got just next year left on his contract. Or wait. His contract is up. What does he want to come back? Yeah, we're going to have some decisions to make because Burns' contract, we will not, we're not going to pick up the option there. We're not going to pick up the option there. So that gives us $42 million or so. So we can probably bring all 3 of them back if we wanted to. Just depends on what it's going to cost. If we don't bring him back, we're going to have a hole at shortstop. Talked about TJ Murphy, talked about Esquivel, and then you can see the rest of the bench here. Eric Robbins sort of flatlined a little bit as a prospect. We may trade him. I would like to find a way to get David Leyva into the lineup next season. Just a great bat, not very good defensively, but that's a problem we seem to have across the board. And since we've got Dean and Morales, we can't have Dean, Morales, and Leyva all on the roster at the same time. I just don't have spots for them. From a pitching perspective, we talked about Munoz and Toronto. Kevin Bowler, who was our young, last year was his first full season. Was good this year, 2.9 WAR, 14 wins. Still has some room for growth there. You can see that stuff has sort of peaked a little bit. Peyton Farr is our, I don't know why it's sit there, is our other young pitcher, 21 years old, who drafted him first in 2031, already on the big club. Looks to be a pretty solid pitcher with ground ball tendencies. Max Cibrian has actually taken a step back. He may be a trade piece this year. An ERA of 6 this year. Granted, the BABIP was really high. His home runs shot up. His whip shot up, but the walks and strikeouts were right in line. So I'm hoping it was an aberration, but he is somebody we could look to move. And the rest of the bullpen was fine. So from a prospect perspective, we talked about Henriquez. He'll be up next season, whether it's at second base. What happens if we make him a second baseman? Yeah, I mean, he could be a very good second baseman. So we've got Henriquez, we've got Leyva, who we talked about, Peyton Farr. So all 3 of these players hopefully will be on the big league roster next year. We also have Dave Maynard, who isn't quite as good as Leyva, but still a really good bat, but could be a trade chip given that he's behind Leyva and he's also not a good fielder. And then Ricky Lona, who we signed as an international free agent last season. So the prospect pool is still full, which is nice. Team history. We go and look at the draft. Our first round pick, we had 2 first round picks this year. Our first round pick was Chaz Carney, drafted a stud reliever, which I don't normally like to do, but potential 100 stuff, fastball, and a wipeout slider, so he could be a stud. We drafted Brad Baker, who's a catcher. I'm hoping that the catching rating, I mean, the ability and the arm are average, but he's got a pretty solid bat for a catcher, which is something we desperately need. Then I drafted Tristan Richardson, another catcher who's got decent catcher ability. So I went all in on the catcher thing this year. Glenn Madden, a kind of high ceiling, low floor, 22-year-old pitcher. Bonner, same deal, high floor, low ceiling kind of guy. And then Tim Roth was when we started to get into our defensive and speed kind of guys. So that was the draft. So from a Twins perspective, we have a crap ton to do this offseason. What do we do with Marcelo Meyer? What do we do with Jordy Parks? What do we do with John D'Amato? And how do we upgrade our catching situation? So a lot of trades could potentially happen, and free agency could be a lot of fun. So that is it. So we are through 14 seasons now. We have 4 more to go, and we need 1 title. I think I'm going to get through 18 seasons either way, just because it's fun, and 14 seasons takes us another month, which takes us right up to the release of Out of the Park 23. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm enjoying playing it. Like I said, it's given me a lot to do in my downtime here while I, sit on my couch and watch TV or whatever, I can, play the games and, just do a quick update. And that is that. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Thanks for 500 subscribers. And I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.